Hello everybody and welcome to Baku for round 4 of the race department Formula 1 League. Currently in the middle of qualifying. Well, I say the middle of qualifying, we've just started qualifying. And of course, myself, Jamie Mayers and Michael Fleming bringing you the action for the entire race session. I believe it's going to be a dry qualifying, dry race. So it looks like it's going to be down to who's going to keep it out of the wall for this 50% race. Not quite sure who's first on a lap. I think it's Jerry, to be fair. Oh, no, it's not. See if I can find who actually is on a lap.
Looks like he's about to start a lap, followed by Ben, I think, are our first two.
Yep. Let's have a look at Kaz as we go down this enormous straight. Hits the brakes for turn 1, gets the car in nicely. Bit of an odd track, this one. Of course, we are driving around the streets of Baku. I haven't got the lap data up yet. There we go. Let's see if anybody's doing any alternate tyre strategies. Not yet. Everybody out on the super soft tyre. Which I would assume would be the optimal qualifying tyre, but for the race, not so sure. Oh, he got very close to the wall there. We got yellow flags in sector 1.
It's Andrea has spun it on the exit of turn 1. It doesn't look like he's got any wing damage, so luckily he seems to have avoided the walls, but not an ideal start to his qualifying session.
More yellows in sector 1 as Kaz just about to come into what I'd call the actual last corner. Although to be fair, these kinks are actual corners, so. Up to terminal speed, DRS open now. 211 mile an hour top speed. And he sets the first lap time of a 1:41.0. Ben can only do a 41.4. Mikey goes second on a 41.1. Not sure who else is close enough for a lap. Abdul abandons his lap. Got Jerry up there in 4th place. We've got Caribbean Crusher spun on second to last corner. Gatis up to 2nd place. Sean with a 40.5 absolutely annihilates the rest of the field. So it looks like he's going to be the one to beat tonight?
Yeah, fairly solid opening gambit from him, 40.5. Hopefully we might get to see a 39 as the session progresses. Mitchell slots into second, and his teammate, who has been talking up his chances, has had a messy end to this lap, but Andrew about to cross the line, only going P8 for now, almost 2 seconds off the pace of our current pole sitter.
Oh, that's got to be awkward for him, having, like you said, talked up his chances quite a bit. We've got the top 7 covered by a second, as Andrea crosses the line on a 2:18.6, but I'm assuming he's going to go again rather than pit and waste time putting tyres on. Very nearly put it in the wall. Oh, very nearly put it in the wall in turn 2. I probably would have pitted to save the tyres at least. I haven't actually done a race. Well, I can't remember the last time I actually did a race on this racetrack, so I'm not entirely sure how the tyres last.
It's one of the nicest tracks we'll come to in terms of tyre wear. So the super soft strategy should be fairly easy. You'll only want to take those super softs sort of to maybe lap 6, 7, get a nice undercut, and run the softs for the end of the race. As we've got Luke has hit the wall, and that is his session over. Trying to see where on track that is. It looks like it's final sector.
That's the last official corner.
Those fast kinks. Maybe he's got a bit too high on the ballast and just lost the rear end, but only caught the end of that, I'm afraid. But that is Luke's session over before it has even begun.
Yeah, I believe that's turn 19. Not quite sure how he's done that. Well, from the looks of it, he might have bounced off one barrier straight into the other one. And because he's knocked the right front off, which is a bit weird. Either that or he's just turned in too early and just taken the wheel off. Which isn't exactly a difficult thing to do. I mean, if you look at Ralf Schumacher's qualifying lap from Monaco 2005, it's very easy to do.
Yeah, and you're threading the needle at almost 200 miles an hour on cars that don't have a lot of downforce on, and a lot of sort of rear-weighted ballast so that you can get through the middle sector as quickly as possible. So controlling the car through those kinks is very difficult. You've got to be so gentle with your wheel inputs, and if you're too gentle, like you said, it can mean that you hit the outside wall and bounce into the other one.
Right, as it stands, we've got 3 men who have yet to set a lap time. We've got Abdul in the Ferrari, his teammate up in 5th position. He's going to encounter some traffic. I can hear you giggling in the background, so I'm assuming somebody's made a howler and a mistake.
I've just seen Cass run off at turn 2 on his outlap, and Thomas in sympathy has done exactly the same thing when I cut to them. They were both reversing out of the escape road.
Oh, that's a bit
rather amusing.
See, we've got Bohr, I think, about to finish his... No, he's about to start a lap, because this lap is just counted as a 5 minute 50-second lap, so he's just starting his lap, as is Guy. Brown, so I'll keep an eye on Brown for now then. He's the first one of the trio to actually finish his lap. Everybody else, as you said, is on an out lap at the moment, so not too much action to keep an eye on. See the straight line speed of this Ferrari. Top speed I've seen so far is 213 miles an hour. DRS open. He's only hit 211 miles an hour. And that only puts him 13th, so he's going to be pretty disappointed with that, I would feel. But of course, well actually I don't even think he's got time to do another lap. Well, another run. He can do another lap, but not another run. Next up is Bohr, going through the fast left-handers near the end of the lap. Doesn't put it in the barriers. Obviously, if you haven't left the pit lane now, you are not getting another lap in.
Harry cutting it fine in that case. He's just left his left the pit lane, so he might be able to sneak in a lap. He might be last across the line when it comes down to it.
Yeah, and Hasnain in the pit, so he's not getting up. Where is this going to put Bohr up to 10th? That's a decent lap. And he runs off the road in delight. Let's have a quick look at Guy. He's about to cross the line. Where is this lap going to put him? 5th position. Fantastic. That's a great lap.
Yeah, only 2 thousandths off Mazice, and don't rule out the pad users here. I remember last season the pad runners were fairly quick. They occupied second and third on the podium. Gatis getting second in that one, so also Gatis second in the championship. So you can't rule him out of a very decent result here. Currently sitting in 4th. Obviously Guy also on the pad in 5th. And Ben sitting in 7th will also want to improve whether he's on the pad or the wheel. This week I don't know, he never seems to make his mind up.
Yeah. Oh, who do we even look at? Ben crosses the line, improves his lap time, but doesn't improve his position. He's on a 41.
Cass on the run up to the line.
Cass goes P2. Oh, how close is that for pole? Sean's just started his last lap. Mitchell going down into turn 3. Got Gatis near the end.
Ben has already thrown in the towel at turn 3 on his lap, so 7th is as high as he will qualify. We've got Mikey coming into the final sector soon. Hard braking for this horrible left-hander. Just about grazes the wall on the exit. Now shifting down into 4th gear, he goes down into 3rd even. And all about maximising your exit, and once again threading the needle through this final sector.
He's got nothing much to do now, as he, apart from open the DRS, which he does now. Where is this going to put him? Is this going to be an improvement? He goes fastest on a 40.4. Just about beating Sean, but remember Sean is still on a lap. Coming through that awkward little left-hander that you were talking about just a second ago. Is Sean going to get his pole position back, or has Mikey stole it in the last couple of seconds?
Mitchell on the run up to the line as well. We'll see if he can throw himself in the mix. He takes pole.
He goes pole. Sean's going to have to pull this one out of his backside. Keeps it on the right hand side. He's going to take it over towards the wall, I think, just for the shortest run to the line. Oh, only P2. I say only P2, it's a front row start, but I think he would have expected to be on the pole. We've got Kaz as well coming up to end his lap. Saif looked like he abandoned his lap, so he starts 10th.
Harry had a crash in what I believe was Sector 1 on his lap, so that's him out of qualifying. Also, Andrea put it in the wall at the notorious turn 8, so I think that is our session done and dusted. And it is Mitchell's first pole position on F1 2017 in race department, if I'm not wrong.
That is an insane stat, given the fact that he is our reigning champion, like you said.
I don't think he got a pole position for the entirety of last season, so he'll be thrilled to pull it out of the bag at this track. And if he's running low downforce, then it'll be very, very difficult for Sean or Mikey or Cassandra to make any inroads on him.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I remember you and Lynchy on this racetrack last season, and Lynchy basically kicking the crap out of his bedroom because he couldn't get anywhere near you.
Yes, I ran 1-2 wings with 10 ballast. I was absolutely awful in the middle sector. He was probably about 5 to 6 tenths a lap faster, but he couldn't get anywhere near me on the straights. So that was the track position to help me there. And I did pull off a filthy undercut. I got about 2 laps worth of undercut, and it jumped me ahead of Gatis. And I was only trying to jump Gatis, but it put me ahead of Lynchy as well. And then all I had to do was just not put it in the wall. Lynchy got frustrated, put it in the wall, and that was my race done.
Yeah, so there we go. We've got 25 seconds, and just check out our grid there. We've got a front row of Mitchell and Sean, Mikey in third, Kaz in fourth, Drew up there in ninth, Saif there in 10th, Harry there in 11th position, and pretty much as it normally is towards the back. So here we go. We're about to head into the race. Who is going to lead between the pole position and the 330 meter dash to turn 1? We are about to find out. Right, here we go. 10 seconds left. We've got 4 lights, we've got 5. And it's a good start there by Mitchell. Pretty slow start there by Sean. Mikey goes up into second place, almost steals the first position into turn 1. I think everybody got through safely. Mikey running to the back of Mitchell there a little bit. Carnage going on in the background. I think Mikey's broken a bit of his front wing as well, as Sean's attacking to get that second position back. He looks to the inside for turn 3, sticks his nose in but backs out of it. Everybody else pretty much safely through. Got a Ferrari heading towards the barriers in the background. And we've got 2x2 action as we go through turns number 4. Like I said, we've had no retirement so far. Doesn't look like any damage, so much
well, I was
damage
looking a bit further down the field, and I think Ben and Saif both missed their braking points as Saif and Andrew come together. Andrew looking down the inside of turn 7. Not a large space to stick the car through there, but he's got the move done. But yeah, both Saif and Ben missing their braking points at turn 2 and losing a large chunk of front wing, I think. So they could be fairly vulnerable at the start of this race. Obviously, Saif already down to 18th, being punted by our Yankee Doodle in 9th.
And I can tell he's going to be absolutely furious with that. But it is a long race. We've got 26 laps. Drew's just lost the position for 9th position. I think Harry just passed him. He has indeed. He's going to try and stick with him in the slipstream though. Back to the front now, and we've got Sean side by side with... Oh, and we've got yellows. I think Drew's got some damage.
We've got no front wing. They must have gone side by side into the corner section or something, but he'll have to box. It's been an atrocious start to this race for Andrew. Meanwhile, Sean putting a lovely move on Mikey at the front. And Guy losing out to Cat, it seems, down into 6th position.
Oh, and Saif very nearly wipes his left front wheel off, heading into the pit lane. Somehow he didn't retire on the spot, but he is safely into the pits. So that's going to be interesting to see what kind of tyre strategy they're going to go on as I put up the tyre spec. Drew and Saif are on the medium tyre they've switched to. Everybody else pretty much on the softs, apart from Jerry and Thomas, who are on the super soft from 10th down. And then, yeah, got a bit of an Armageddon section there for 2nd position. Sean, Mikey, Gatis, Kaz, Guy, and Troy, I think his name is. All within pretty much half a second of each other.
Yep, that's great to see. Also, Jerry cementing his status as perhaps one of our best starters in this league. Up 5 places after the first lap, but it looks like Hazmade, the Force India, ran into the wall of that horrible left-hander. Was it turn 17? And he's got front wing damage now, and Jerry is looking to pounce. He's up 5 places. Can he get another? Meanwhile, Troy overtaking Guy about halfway down the straight. Well, not DRS, but a slipstream move. Can Guy chuck it back down the inside at turn 1?
He'd be very brave to try and move that far back, but he doesn't get that done. Jerry looking up the inside and does indeed get that 10th place. Hasname's going to look to try and get down the inside back into turn 3. Quite tricky, but he will have DRS, I believe. He does indeed. Can't do anything with it though. Soft tyre to super soft. Andrea pits and goes to the super soft tyre. I'm not entirely sure if he's going to attempt to get the super soft to the end of the race from here. I mean, I highly doubt it.
Ben has binned it in sector 1 and he's lost the entirety of his front ring. It looks like turn 6 he might have clipped the curb and just put it in the wall. So he is now going to be a mobile chicane as they go through an actual chicane at turn 8, stopping Jerry's progress. But yeah, Hasnane also looking like he'll have to pit or soldier on with his damage, not helping him up a lot. But yes, Ben has dropped it in the first sector, it seems.
Hopefully he doesn't wipe himself out on the barrier on the exit of this corner. May have just tagged the back of Jerry there as they were going through that corner. He's got to be very careful through this section, so I wouldn't be surprised if he just lets these guys through. He doesn't. Oh my goodness me! Oh my god, somehow they managed to get through that unscathed. I was expecting some kind of almighty crash. Although we might still get it as we go almost 3 wide down the pit straight. But everybody's through. And as you say, Ben in the pits replacing his front wing.
Oh, Cass nearly running it into the back of Gatis. It looks like at this early stage, not only is Mikey struggling, but he must be running high aero because he's really struggling in a straight line. Cass running at 10 miles per hour faster than in a straight line. Gatis also a little bit quick. Obviously, they do have a DRS advantage, and Mikey has slipped out of that benefit behind Sean. Mitchell surprisingly running away with this one. We didn't think perhaps he could hold that qualifying performance. We thought that Sean might be able to close the gap, but another fastest lap for Mitchell, and he is extending the gap out to 2 seconds now.
Yeah, he just needs to get his head down and make sure that... Oh, Jerry out of the race! That's down at the castle. That is indeed, that looks like he's just gone straight into the wall.
Week
Didn't
in,
even
week out.
make the turning point.
He makes such good start and then just throws it all the way.
That's very bad luck for him. Somehow Sype is still lost.
We could see Mikey, Gatis and Cass going 3 wide up down into turn 1 now. This is looking tasty.
Oh dear lord. Oh dear lord.
Cass.
3 wide. Mikey's going to lose 2 places in 1. No, he doesn't. He just loses the 1. Or does he? Because Kaz is going to have a look down the inside. No, backs out of it. Remember, he's got this DRS straight in which to make the move. Bohr and Hasne going side by side. I'm assuming down the pit straight. We're going to stick with this for a moment. And no, Kaz couldn't do anything with Mikey on that DRS straight. Kind of surprising.
Yeah, into turn 1, Hasne defending hard from Bohr, but Bohr with a lovely cutback out of turn 2, and he will take the position into 3. Lovely bit of driving from the Haas driver there. His teammate now next to face Hasne, who is of course sporting that front wing damage.
Oh, Hasne almost had to look up the inside there. That would have been very brave if he'd have tried it. Back through the castle section, and we've still got Gatis, Mikey, Kaz, Troy together on the racetrack. But Mikey's very, very quick, so I think you're right in that he's running quite a lot of aero because he was very quick through those through that little section there. Now we're going to see him drop back into the clutches of Kaz.
Troy's managed to work his way.
That being said, Mikey's got DRS. Mikey will have DRS. As Scythe pits again for the super soft tyre. So clearly I don't know if he broke his front wing or something.
And Sean has made a mistake somewhere because he's losing left front wing end plate, and he's dropped 2 seconds to Mitchell and has dropped right into the clutches of Gatis, Mikey, Cass and Troy here. So Sean may have thrown it all away at some point during that last lap.
Oh dear, he's locked it up again. Here comes Gatis round the outside. Can't do anything with it. Should have held back for a switchback but didn't, and now Mikey's attacking him. Oh, and then he's just going to barge him out the way. Somehow they didn't make contact with the barriers, and Gatis wrestles second position away. And Mikey has to slip in to that 4th position. You don't want to be going side by side through this particular section of racetrack. Yellow's in sector 2, and that is Guy in the barrier at turn 8.
Oh, Sean understeering into the wall there at the flat out left-hander. Can he get it slowed down in time for this? But he just does it. I mean, it's just wonderful to see 5 cars going nose to tail through that castle section. It's absolutely brilliant. But Sean definitely struggling. He should be at the mercy of Mikey here. He'll probably have to lift through this section of track. Whether this will catch Mikey out or not, I don't know.
Oh dear, how did he not retire the car there? Mikey does indeed take the 3rd position, and he had to do it quickly, otherwise he would have lost touch with Gatis. Yellow's out again in sector 2.
Andrea's binned it at the top of the hill and is going backwards now.
Ooh, Mikey's had to go defensive on Kaz.
Meanwhile, Bohr looking up the inside of Thomas into turn 1.
He's going to get that move done. Knocks up the front, but gets the car in. Sean's also been given a penalty, I believe, for pit lane
Cass throws it down the inside of Mikey, and Cass now moves into 3rd place. Mikey just about gives him the room.
Yeah, Mikey's getting a bit beaten up now, and I can see himself just dropping in behind Troy just to get himself out of this. Because I know Mikey does get a bit flustered. I know he's been doing this for the entirety of the 7 years I've known him, but he does just like to get himself out of the situation, as Kaz almost put it in the wall in the castle section. And look at Mikey chasing him down. Andrea with no front wing as well gets a pit lane penalty.
He looks severely out of practice here, qualified about 20 seconds off the pace, and or 38 seconds off the pace, and has put it in the wall several times, so perhaps didn't get any practice time for this one. But Mikey definitely close enough to have a look on Cass, although I think Cass might be running the lowest error of the lot based on the speed I was seeing earlier. We'll see if Mikey can make quick work of him.
He's closing, but I don't think he's closing anywhere near enough. No, he doesn't. He'll have to try again down into turn 3. Yeah, he's close enough now, so he should be able to, especially with Kaz getting a bit of a wobbler coming out of turn 2 as Thomas pits from the 8th position, I believe. No, Mikey can't do anything there either, so he's going to have to wait another lap. Or have to do some sort of damn dare moment. Sean takes 10th place as Thomas is in the pits. And can I just say, Cypher's actually made a position in this race. He's up to 16th.
Incredible.
On that super soft tyre.
Luke is looking fairly right. He looks like he's got the pace over, hasn't he? He just can't put a lap together to get into a position to overtake him. So Luke trying to advance on his 9th place, but not quite getting anywhere just yet. Keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, this may be a position.
Oh,
where...
Mikey's hit the wall. Mikey's hit the wall. Sorry at the fast. Left-hander. I don't know if it's 17 or 18, but
doesn't look like he's got any. Oh, he has lost a little bit of that right front wing, so that's going to understeer like a supermarket trolley.
Expect to see him dive into the pits on this straight and just get out of the way and move on to the soft tyres.
Is he gonna, he's not going to... He is going to pit. He needs to be very careful because we've seen the others get penalties here. Just about... That was superb. That was a superb pit entry, but he's pitting at least a couple of laps earlier than he would have wanted to. On goes the soft tyre. And on goes the front wing through a front wing, because on my screen they didn't actually take the old one off.
Be interesting to see where this brings out in comparison to Sean. They've both had to change front wings. Sean going through turn 1 now, he's going to get the jump on Mikey actually by quite a distance. That's a shame.
Yellow flags, Thomas is out. Thomas has done exactly what
Luke did in qualifying.
Yeah, Luke did in qualifying. Bounced off the wall. He's gone a little bit further down the straight though, so I don't know.
And he's lost the other. He's lost the other front tyre as well. So.
I don't quite know how he's made it that far down, but he's out of the race now. That's another place up for Scythe. You never know, by the end of the race he might be in the points if everybody else in front of him crashes out. He is 39 seconds off the next car, as Andrea does a lovely power slide out the last corner. And
well,
Kaz closing up to the back of Gatis. That might be, and looking at the times, that is going to be pretty much one of our only fights at the moment to the pit stop.
Mitchell, race leader, dives into the pits. Will the two behind follow in? Kaz looking like he's wanting to,
Kaz
and he does
pit.
indeed.
That's Troy up to second position. Well, that's a long stop for Kaz.
He's just stationary. Wow. Oh, he must have had a penalty for surfing. Or
maybe. Out goes the Ferrari of Brown, by the way. That awkward little left-hander coming over the brow of the hill where Vettel and Hamilton got a little intimate with each other. And that's him at the race. Scythe will now be up to 14th position. We've got Kaz and Mikey. Kaz just coming out the pits, half a second in front of Mikey.
Yeah, that issue in the pits is really costing, and might give Gatis a bit of breathing space if he pits this lap. As Guy runs it into the wall out the exit of turn 2 and loses his right front end plate again, so his race has gone from good to kind of tragic.
Yeah, Mikey all over the back of Kaz. I'm going to keep an eye on this battle for now because it is, well, pretty much the only battle at the moment. Obviously wait until the rest of the pit stops have happened and then we shall see where we are.
Harry's struggling with the car through turn 19 there. Got in all wrong on the exit and he's lost the rear end to the kinks as well. Looks to be struggling for rear end grip in that car. Might see him dip into the pits for a fresh set of rubber.
Yep,
all the
exactly
top 3
right.
heading into the pits. Yeah.
Oh, he slowed a lot. Harry making sure that he didn't get a penalty, but he's going to have lost a lot of time with that because he slowed down way too much. Bohr takes second position as he's not stopped yet. Hasnain and Luke. And now your top 4. Everybody else on track is at least stopped once. company race leader who has already stopped. And is looking to pretty much dominate this race as long as he keeps it at the barriers.
Yep, 16th in the championship standings currently. But finally, we are seeing the kind of performance you'd expect from a reigning world champion. Mitchell hasn't put a foot wrong as yet, as Guy puts his third foot wrong.
That's turn 2, I think.
I think he's done it again.
Or is that turn 3?
Yes, it is turn 2. He's put it in the wall and lost the right front tyre. So that is his race over. Once again, started off with a lot of promise, but too many mistakes have cost him there.
Oh, we've got, there's debris down at turn 8. Somebody's clipped the wall somewhere.
Luke is missing some front wing end plate, as Hasnade's lost a lot of front wing. I think what's happened is Hasnade's had a bit of an issue there, and perhaps Luke run into the back of him.
Yeah, Hasnade's got no front wing at all. Is he going to get a big lift through there? Luckily, Gatis was too far behind to run into the back of him there. And he goes
Luke soldiering
into
on.
4th place. I'm not quite sure if that's a very smart decision, given the amount of wing he's missing, but we'll see how it plays out.
It would be a long way to stretch those super softs, to be fair. Over half race distance, it would have to be 15 laps. It's potentially doable, but they'd be fairly horrible at the end of the race, so he might just be sticking out. He doesn't want to leave it too long though, because if his teammate boxes when he wants to, he'll have to go around again to avoid dropping even more time.
Back to our Armageddon section. Currently led by Troy in 6th position. Then we've got Kaz, Mikey. Closest one is Kaz to Troy, so we'll look for him to make the move down the pit straight shortly. Mikey trying to keep up with them as much as he can, remembering that he's really not got the straight line speed. And we've got Sean latching onto the back of Gatis for 4th. And we've got Ben latching onto the back of Drew as well for 10th. That could get pretty spicy shortly.
Yeah, lots of little fights going on, but Troy hasn't got a very good run out of the final section of corners, and looks like he could be vulnerable to Cass here. Cass right up in the slipstream. He's going to have to go a long way around into turn 1, but he just about gets it done before the braking zone.
Pretty nice move there.
Fairly simple move into 6th place.
Done. We've still got 2 people that haven't made a stop yet. Going to be interesting to see where they come out, because remember they'll have much fresher tyres than these lot. So it'll be interesting to see how much of an impact they make in their 2nd stint. Mikey not really following Kaz on the back of Troy there, so he must have made a little mistake somewhere between turns 1 and 2. He's now dropped a 2nd back, whereas he was only 7/10.
I think he's looked uncomfortable all race, to be honest. He looked slower out of the front group at the beginning, and has struggled, it looks like, again with the rear end of that Ferrari throughout the race, so hasn't shown his usual level of competitiveness. As Gatis is now sizing up Luke into the final sector, but he's got Sean to worry about behind him as well, so this could get pretty tasty as we head down the start finish.
Sorry, Sean almost run into the back of Gatis in that corner. Luckily managed to avoid him, but that has put him back just a little bit. Just like you said, Gatis eyeing Luke up for a slipstreaming manoeuvre. Very close, they almost banged wheels there at 200 miles an hour. I certainly would not want to do that and Gatis takes third off of one of the two gentlemen that have yet to stop.
Yeah, the tight squeeze. A bit too close for comfort. I've had issues with people squeezing me at this circuit down the start finish straight, and I don't really want to talk about that. But Mikey trying to look at Troy down into turn 3, but just couldn't quite get. I think he's running a bit too much wing. Whenever he's in the DRS range of the car ahead, he's just not making enough ground to be able to confidently go on the brakes into these short apexes. It's really hampering him, especially now that he's lost track position with that change of front wing.
Yeah, I also noticed that a lot of the drivers are missing the curbs in that chicane that they just passed through. I mean, they're particularly high. I can imagine that upsets the car quite a lot if you run over them.
Yeah, we saw in the first couple of laps what happens when you do that. Ben clouted it and ended up in the wall, so you've got to take your chances with which ones you clip. But Sean right under Luke all the way through that section. Luke struggling with a bit of front wing damage, and now his tyres are a bit past it, and Sean was pushing him along. Now Cass has joined the party. They're running nose to tail. Cass getting a little bit out of shape there. That's blocked his runners. Mikey going for Troy, thinks better of it through the flat out kinks here. He's got so much to watch. This is incredible. But Sean now with the slipstream should make light work of Luke. Can Cass get the double overtake now?
Mikey's just had to take a second dip of slipstream, and I think you're right. Cass has just taken the pair of them. Sean tries to hold him around the outside, side by side between the two Ferraris. Who the hell is that that's just joined? Andrea gets another penalty.
But we have just seen a Mika Hakkinen-esque overtake from Cassandra into turn 1. That was wonderful to watch. Mikey also getting the move done on Troy, but Cass getting the double slipstream and using it to full advantage. Careful on the brakes as well, just made sure he made the apex, didn't overshoot. Wonderfully executed move to jump him from 6th and into 4th place now. Hunting down Gatis. P2 is on for Cass now.
It is indeed. Gatis is going to have to start trying to take some bravery pills and get the move done. These guys closing up with every corner. Yellow flag somewhere in turn 1. Yep, yeah, that's turn 2.
Dismal race for him so far. Already a lap down and a minute and a half off Saif, who is half a minute off Hasnain ahead of him. Sector 3 yellows. That can only be Mitchell, surely.
I can't imagine he's so away.
No, he hasn't. I have no idea what that was for. Ben not running with much front wing in 11th, though, it has to be said.
Maybe it was him.
Harry also missing a lot of wing as Mikey sizing up Luke.
Kaz doesn't have to make the overtake because Bohr is about to pit. And we're going to have another three-way dance down the pit straight, I think. Oh! Mikey just swiping across the front of Troy. One of which has not lost a bit of their front wing. I think it was Luke that's lost a bit of his front wing with that.
Troy has lost his whole right wing end plate. That was very aggressive from Mikey. I can't understand why you'd swipe across like that. Completely unnecessary. He had the run on him. Very uncharacteristic there from Mikey. I think he's put Troy in the wall from it.
Yeah, Harry gets a new front wing as he's in the pits. Luke, the only one not to stop. I don't know how he hasn't stopped yet, especially with that front wing damage mounting up now. Can't imagine it would be too much longer before he pits.
I mean, it's not been a bad stint for him. He's still 16 seconds ahead of Mr. I sweated this track for 5 hours and tweaked the setup to make it how I want it in 8th. And as his teammates just pitted and come out behind him, that he could come out fighting in the top 10 with Hasnain. So Luke, not too bad of first stint really. He's shown half decent pace really on knackered tyres and half a front wing. So he can be proud of this stint, whatever.
He can indeed, and the two Mercs are going to get very friendly with each other very shortly. Kaz running a little bit deep into that corner, so that's going to give Sean a run at him, I think. And he'll have the DRS as well, as he's only under half a second. We could see a swap for third between the two Mercs, as long as they don't crash into each other. And it looks like Boar's going to overtake Drew as well, somewhere down the field. Let's quickly swap to him.
Yeah, he's on fresh super soft. Andrew has been on those mediums since lap 1, so it shouldn't be too difficult for Boar to get this done. But does he have the run? He's going to open DRS. We'll find out if he will lunge one into turn 1 with his superior grip on those Pirellis as Luke finally boxes. But yes, he has lunged it down the inside. Andrew's going to try and get the cutback here as they head down into turn 2. Will Andrew just give him the place? Oh! No.
That was quite
Boar gives up
close,
fairly easily. But he's got a great run in down into turn 3.
Yeah, I think Boar was just waiting for the run. He's not got the DRS open though, so I don't know who had it activated, as they almost bang wheels into turn 3, sorry. Oh, is he going to have a look? Oh, that was close. I thought he was going to try and move into there. That would have been brave if not stupid. And he'll have to wait now for maybe down into that corner just before the long straight. I can't imagine him passing anywhere else until then.
I'm surprised he backed off into turn 2. He was ahead, it would have been his corner by all means. So whether he got maybe an illegal overtake messages, Troy almost puts it in the wall as he clouts the curve heading into the final sector there. But yes, Boar not quite past Andrew yet. We'll see how long it takes for him to make that move.
Back with the Mercedes party. Sean's even closer than he was the lap before. Is he going to try and overtake? I don't think he's not close enough. Not unless he does one of his famous moves. Bounces off the back of his teammate and loses a little bit of his left front wing. Andrea's finally out of the race. Knocked his right front off in the pit lane. And we've got Boar side by side with Drew.
Yeah.
We've got yellows in sector 1 as well. I can only imagine that's for Andrea in the pits. And Boar wrestles that position off of Drew.
Meanwhile, Harry and Ben have both pitted to fix their front wings, so they won't be happy running down in 11th and 12th. A bit of a shame for them, but yeah, Boar, good move on Andrew. We'll see what kind of pace he can have. He was our driver of the day in Shanghai, and he's put up a decent race here, if I'm being honest. I mean, he's up 8 places from his starting position and running into decent points for Haas.
Yeah, that being said, Saif is now only, oh, as I say that, he pits. I was going to say he's under 20 seconds behind the next car, but he's just come into the pits. He did pit quite a long time ago for those super softs. This of course means that he's going to go a lap down as well, I think, as Mitchell crosses the start finish line now. I think Sean's made a little mistake as well, because the gap between him and his teammate doubled.
Well, he has lost that bit of front wing. Not only that, he is on the harder tyre, so it would be very much an uphill struggle for him to maintain the gap to Cass, let alone increase it. But Gatis has actually put on a very decent second stint here. I expected Cass to close up to him, but if anything, the Williams has pulled away from the Mercedes driver. So Gatis continuing his strong season up there in second.
Yeah, we will keep an eye on that. We've still got a long way to go. I mean, I know I keep saying it, but on a track like this, you can only say that you've not got long left when you actually cross the line at the end of it. Oh, Harry! Lost it down at turn 1. That almost looks like he just locked up and, well, completely missed the corner and has gone straight to the wall. So Harry doing a Harry. Yep.
Out of frustration or determination to get the fastest lap, we don't know, but he's definitely overcooked that one. If not, just slammed it into the wall for his own fun, but that is him out of the race. It definitely hasn't been the race that he would have wanted. I think he did get bulked in quali by Bohr. Bohr has said that after qualifying he did get in the way of a Renault and Harry was a bit out of position, so that might be an explanation as to how this evening started to go so badly for the Renault driver.
Saif did of course go a lap down, just as I mentioned. He's trying to stick nicely in the slipstream of Mitchell. Mitchell pulls over to let Saif go. Remember Saif on those super softs, and Mitchell on fairly old soft tyres. So it wouldn't really make sense to have Saif just clawing all over the back of him like that. It's pretty sensible. He doesn't want any distractions. He does have a 7.8 second lead. As Drew loses another place. And that's Ben in the barriers. What corner is that? That is
Our final corner, just out the final corner, yeah.
Sorry,
oh, Andrew into the wall. He's gone side by side with Hasnain into turn 2 and he's lost the rear end, stroking the wall as he on the exit there as Luke pits once again, losing half his front wing, whether he didn't get that change in the first off or has picked up damage since, I don't know, but yes, Andrew almost binning it. I think he might have got away with no damage there, but slipping down to 9th.
Yeah, there's a little damage to the right front of his wing, but relatively unscathed from that. Unfortunately, I missed that. But as I was watching Ben in the wall, somebody called him Ben Bottlejob earlier in the stream chat, and I think he's lived up to that with that crash. I can only assume he got a bit squirrely off of that high curb that I was mentioning earlier. Just put it straight in the wall.
Well, only 11 drivers left, and it all seems to have settled down now. Once again, Mikey on the softer tyre than Sean, and with what looks to be an undamaged front wing. You'd have thought he'd be making inroads into the Dutchman, but he just hasn't had the pace so far in this race to cause any kind of trouble.
Drew pits. He's on the super soft tyre. I do apologise, I may or may not have just lost my broadcast partner, because apparently he's expecting some kind of pizza to arrive.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is, but they are not getting a reply.
Yeah, I've had to pull out of races before because the doorbell's rung. Rather unfortunately.
Chill out, man.
Oh, whoever that is quite persistent.
Wow. I'm sure they'll get bored.
I think it's a bit late to have Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on your door at this time of night.
If only. Got some good looking Jehovah's Witnesses around.
Oh, well.
Anyways, back to Mitchell, who is putting in the performance of the season that we've been looking for. He's had a torrid time in the first 3 races, so yeah, finally seeing what a championship drive looks like, and he's been faultless throughout this race and completely untroubled. Everything has just fallen into place for him, and finally as well, he's getting pole just helps with that so much, getting you out of the pack. The first time he's done it in 2 seasons, and he must be loving it, because it is a fantastic feeling to just watch all the carnage happen behind you whilst you can pull away and just drive your own race.
Yeah, maybe he has been taking some time out to listen about the words of our Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ.
It gained you half a second.
It clearly does, because like you said, he's taken pole position, and if he keeps it out the barriers, take a fairly easy win. Gatis doing a very good job there in second position. No damage to his car. Although he gets a bit loose off of that curb, but manages to keep forward momentum. Kaz there in third position. Also undamaged. We've got his teammate rubbing up against the wall by the looks of it. Fourth position. And remember, I believe he's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So I don't know if they added that at the stop. I would assume they would have.
I think it doesn't add on for that stop. I think it adds on for the next pit stop you do. Probably because the game mechanics can't react in that time. Maybe for sort of a realism kind of thing. But yeah, so he hasn't served a pit stop since, so I would assume that he is going to drop 5 seconds at the end of the race, and it will come up saying it's a 10-second penalty because this game is perfect in every single way. But that could give Mikey P4, which he doesn't deserve. He's been slow as anything.
I'm going to tell him you said that, as he almost knocks up and puts it in the barriers. He is, of course, as Jude sets the fastest lap of the race. Just giving himself something to do. Mikey is currently our third place man in the championship after being... Oh, what did I just say? Mikey Wolford has just put it in the barriers and is out of the race with 3 laps remaining.
It's very reminiscent of the Mikey Wolford we saw at the beginning of last season. Off the pace and now in the barrier.
Oh, I can't believe he's just done that.
He may have been off the pace, but it has been 12 good points to go towards the championship, and he has made a monumental error there. So easily done. It's a very difficult corner to get right each and every lap, and odds are that you are going to tap the wall on the exit, but he's done more than that. He's absolutely raped it. Sean.
Yeah, I'm going to wait and see just how quickly it is for him to blame BT for that incident. Our
leader is disconnected.
Oh!
And he slowed
I
right
don't
down.
believe it!
Opportunity.
I don't believe it! Remember we had the drama. Remember we had the drama of last week when we had Sean get a punch on the last lap of the race. And was it Gatis? I think it was Gatis.
Yeah.
That very nearly won the race, and we're in that same position again. Gatis takes the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. He's going to be over the moon.
I cannot believe what has just happened. We've been saying that it's finally all gone into place for Mitchell, and now it's crumbled in the most dramatic way it could. He's going to slip outside the top 4, and he has joined back, so in a few, probably about half a minute before he'll be able to take control of his car again, but he'll be on full attack mode. If Sean can get past him, it's going to be very difficult for Mitchell to get into the podium positions on the track, at least. Of course, Sean does have that penalty, but it's gifted Gatis a potential race victory.
I'll say I'm absolutely speechless, as he does indeed drop to 4th position. Is he going to be able to get back behind the wheel of the car, as we've got yellows in sector 3? Please tell me that's not somebody else crashing out of the race.
I couldn't see anyone obviously in the barrier.
More yellows in sector 3. I don't even see anybody in sector 3. My screen at least. Anyway, that is of course all of that carnage
Mitchell has now regained control of his car just before he dips out the 5-second gap to Sean, so it looks like he will at least get a podium. But what an awful thing to happen when you're leading a race.
Yeah, I can imagine he's gonna. Oh, and he very nearly puts himself in the barriers just to compound the issue. He's got to be absolutely furious with as they're about to start their final lap. And I've got to say, we saw last week a couple of dicks on super soft tyres on a wet track, and it looks like again they are together. One is out the race, one is in the race, because Mikey's pretty much gifted Cypher point. I know you said that Mikey didn't really deserve the 4th place, but does Cypher really deserve a point? I don't know, but anyway.
Well, it's been a race of attrition, and anyone that can get to the end will be rewarded, and we'll see a double points finish for Haas, it looks like. Haas been putting the pressure on Bohr at this late stage, but they've done a great job. But Mitchell is dangerously close to falling outside of 5 seconds behind Sean. He shouldn't, in theory, have an issue with it. Sean does have front wing damage through this middle sector. He should lose time, but Mitchell, I cannot believe it's gone that wrong for him. It's happened before in this league. Season 8 Canada, the Simplay.
Yep.
Disconnecting at a brilliant time for myself, as I remember taking my first win in this league. Completely outclassed the field that day, but disconnected with a few laps to go, and I took an absolutely undeserved victory. So, and Mikey also crashed out in that race, so I mean, it's basically the same thing. But Gatis, I mean, he's been one of the victims with the racing line rule, and yet he's come here and shown real race-winning pace, really. I mean, okay, Mitchell had the gap, but Cass is a very strong competitor, and Gatis has had the measure of him all race long. And whilst it perhaps won't be the most deserved victory, he's about to go and get it anyway, and he has had the pace to deserve it, in my eyes at least.
I'll agree with that. Gatis wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Kaz crosses the line in 2nd. Sean crosses the line in 3rd. Mitchell spins into the barriers, but no, he doesn't. He stays 4th with that. I don't know if him spinning himself into the barriers has actually cost himself the 5th place. I'm not sure. Either that, or they did actually do the 5 seconds at the pit stop, which I'm assuming they actually did. Troy finishes 5th. 4 finishes 6th. Hasnain couldn't pass him and fell a further 4 tenths back as they crossed the line. Drew's about to cross the line for 8th position, having set the fastest lap a couple of laps ago, and he's further proof that sweating a race and tweaking your setup so that it's fantastic in your mind doesn't always work, as he finishes 8th. Luke is going to come across the line to finish 9th, and half a minute back we are going to have our last point scorer in Saif Mahmood, as long as he doesn't put it in the wall himself.
It's been a depressing performance, just over half a minute off the guy ahead, but he will somehow get rewarded with a point. I think with regards to Sean's penalty, the game is perfect in every single way except 5 seconds speeding in the pit lane penalties only count on that person's screen. So I think on Sean's screen he will be in 4th behind Mitchell by about 4 tenths of a second, but on everyone else's screen he'll be 3rd. So we'll just see how that one plays out. Sean did run out of fuel just as he crossed the line, which might have saved Mitchell actually getting a podium.
Well, of course, just like Race Spot can't criticise anything to do with iRacing in their broadcasts. No, fuck it. This game is crap, but it's all we have. And
Great.
as we have our podium spraying the champagne, I'm probably going to get in a bit of trouble for that, but who cares? What a podium that is. And there we go. So
yes, as you can see,
got...
displaying as a 10-second penalty and then not actually counting for anything on our screens. But I think on his screen he will be P4, so yes.
Yes, so there we go. Gatis wins. Great job from him. Kaz takes second position. Mitchell third. Sean fourth. Troy fifth. Boss sixth. Hasnain seventh. Drew eighth. Luke ninth. And Saif was the last finisher. Fair play to him for not quitting out the race, because I know a lot of other drivers would have just gone F this and left. So next time I see him, I'll shake his hand and say, look, well done. I can imagine that was immensely boring. But yeah, he did manage to finish. And all that leaves me to ask you, of course, although I think it's pretty obvious at this point, your driver of the day.
Once again, there were notable performances from the Haas drivers, notably Gerard again from 15th to 6th. But yeah, Mitchell didn't put a foot wrong in qualifying and didn't put a foot wrong in the race. Completely robbed of victory, but dominant out there up until that point. So Mitchell gets my driver of the day.
Now, I could be quite controversial and say Gatis, because Gatis actually put himself in the position to gain from all of that. He was only 7 seconds off Mitchell when Mitchell disconnected. I mean, Mitchell did a fantastic job, you know, pole position. Fastest lap for most of that race until Drew decided to wake up. And yeah, did a very solid job. Actually, yeah, you're right. I think I've given Gatis driver of the day already once this season. So yeah, I think I'll join you. Mitchell for me.
Good. I thought we were going to disagree then. That was about to get messy.
I think it would have been. I think it would have been the first time that we would have disagreed. But driver of the day.
Not that, you know, Gatis didn't have a great race or anything. He really surprised me with his pace. He made some opportunistic moves and totally, you know, deserved what he got. But I just think Mitchell was better in most, if not every way, up until the incident.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I should feel guilty or not, having mentioned BT internet connection literally like 10 seconds before he disconnected, but I'd take no responsibility for that. And clearly it's all the fault of Codemasters. But yeah, the next race is going to be the Spanish Grand Prix at Barcelona. That should be a very interesting race. And it's going to be interesting to see the stewards after this, because there were a couple of questionable incidents. One of which is being talked about right now with Mikey swiping Luke into a barrier down the pit straight. It would be interesting to see Saif and Drew's incident. I'm sure we'll see that at some point, and I'm sure there are other moves that we're going to see as well. So yeah, if this has of course tantalized your itch of racing on the PlayStation 4 every Tuesday night, do of course visit us on the forum, put your name down as a reserve, and you never know, myself and Michael may be talking about you at some point this season. But from myself and Michael, we're going to call it a night, and we shall see you next time out for the Spanish Grand Prix.